What's going on YouTube? Today I want to show you guys how I built my e-bike and have the lights on it, and all the lights on this bike, which I'm going to show you the back. Every single one of the lights on this bike actually runs off the main battery, and also here's how I control the lights. So I'm gonna put all the parts that you need in the description if you do want to build your own bike. Super bright twin LED lights. Um, so I'm gonna get behind the camera and show you guys first of all the lights, and then I'm gonna walk you through how to put it on the bike and make it work. So this is my garage gym, and this is what it looks like with lights on. If you can't tell, I'm a big fan of LEDs. I got LEDs on my mirrors over there. The bike looks good. So here's my phone, and this is how I actually, first of all, I velcro my phone to the battery, but this is how I control the LED lights on this. You can see in the background, I'm going to change it to green. There's green. Change it to yellow. Change it to blue, white, or whatever that color is. And this is blue. Okay, that's white. This is whatever color. Back to red. I can go into styles and have like different options. Let's do purple. So you can see you can have it flashing. You can have cayenne yellow flashing. You can have blue, red flashing, and you can actually change the speed as well. It could be faster, it could be slower. You can adjust the brightness level. This would actually save you more. It would use less energy when you have it flashing. You can also have like a music if you want to if it would ask you for permission, whatever. Allow while using the app. Allow. I don't have any music that I want to play. What is this? Let me just select any random song. John Legend. And if you pause it, it's gonna pause. If you resume the music, so you can have that, or so it uses your phone's microphone. The device itself also has a microphone that you can actually use, so that could be helpful. And here is how I turn it on and off, on or off. It's a little washed out right now, so let me turn the light down. If I press and hold this button right here, all the lights go off. As you can see, they're all off except for the tail light and headlight, which uses a different control. But hold it again, and whatever light color you set last always shows on. So if you had a red as your last color, it's gonna show red. If you have blue, white, whatever color you selected, that's what's gonna be your last color. And let me turn the light back on and show you guys how I control the headlights. This right here is the switch to the headlight. First of all, let me turn this light off. They can be both on at the same time, or they can be independently on. So Uh, at nighttime, I like to have both of them on. Usually, I have a green or red, depending on how dark it is. If it's very dark, I would always have green because it's brighter. If it's not as dark, if it's in the evening, then I'll have red. So once again, to turn off, press and hold. This light goes off. When the headlight is on, this blue light stays on. And if you want to turn it off, you just press this and it turns it off. As you can see, no light on, no light on. And then your brake light would also work at the same time. So if you press the brake, both sides work at the same time. So this side, brake light. Your turn signal, if you want your turn signal, you press this button right here. And you'll know the turn signal is on when you see this light on. And this is what the turn signal looks like. Now, I don't have a front turn signal, just the rear. To turn it off, you press this button again, and then your left side. And if you want both of them actually on, you can do it with this switch right here. And now both of them are on. So if you ever pull over, you can actually use this. Or if you just want to keep riding, to catch somebody's eyes, other drivers, cars on the road, that way they don't hit you, you can actually have this just on. If you don't do this, this lights here can actually flash. But if you just want your tail light to flash, you can do that. And to turn them off, you press again. Now, I also do have a horn on this bike. So it used to be just single headlight, but I changed it to dual headlight because of the looks. Not because of the brightness, but simply because of the looks. I think having a dual headlight just looks more mean. Looks better in general. And man, these things are super bright. So what I did was I actually spliced the wires together and had this dual headlight. I built a plate to actually screw them on top of it. That way they can actually mount together. And they give me better vision at night, even though I don't really need it. But best thing about it is just, for me, it's just the way they look. And to turn it on, once again, press this switch. And this is the lights. These things are just, they're ridiculously bright. You have 8 individual LEDs in them that makes them bright. Now, because each one of these has horns, it is also controlled here. When I press the horn, because I spliced the wires together, they are very, very loud. So hear them. Man, these things are so loud they hurt the ears. But you can see the light and the reflection on the mirror. These things are just crazy bright. And I absolutely love them. Just so you guys get a better view of the LEDs, I like this one specifically because of the black. They're black, they're not white like the ones on the mirrors. So I just use because they have a sticker in the back, I just mount them on this bike frame. Obviously you gotta wipe the frame. I took the mud guard off and I put it all underneath. I wired it all the way around for my side light. And then for the fork here, for the front fork, I actually stuck them down. At the same time, I wired it like underneath. So it kind of just wrapped around all the way to the front. All the way to the front, underneath the fork, all the way down, and then come back up. So it looks like this from the front. Let me turn one of the light off. That way you guys can see what it looks like in some semi-dark environment. So side view, front, once again a front view. Here's a front view, side view, and rear view. No one is gonna have issues seeing me at all. Right, so now let me show you guys how to actually put this together to make it work. When you receive the device in the mail, it's gonna come in a small box. It's gonna look like this. It's the black LED strips, and you're gonna cut them up. I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna put a picture on the screen that shows you where you actually solder. So you can wire each strips, you can join each strips by using a solder. As you can see, I joined this part together to go over my fork, because this one I got damaged and this little section wasn't lighting up. Instead of just leaving like that, I wanted to just fix it, but also take the time to show you guys how I was able to actually have a bunch of it joined together to where it goes all over the bike. You're also gonna need one of these right here. It's gonna have the power input. It's gonna have a power on mode, music, whatever. You want to get the ones with the two prong. As you can see, I spliced this one, but anyways, you're gonna get one of those. I don't use the remote for this because mine is actually in this frame right here. It's only when I open it up that I have access to the IR receiver, so I don't really care. I just use my phone to control it. Anyways, for your LEDs, which are the the colorful light strips, this is what my display looks like. So it's exactly one of these. It's the same thing. I have a 60 volt. You can have a 36 volt. It doesn't matter. They all work the same. This right here, this part connects to the controller, and this part is what's gonna connect to the voltage regulator. This part is gonna output 52 volt in my case. If you have a 36 volt or 48 volt battery, it's gonna output those battery. The regulator is then gonna connect to this and then drop down your voltage from, in my case, 52 down to 12 volt, because these things run off, the LEDs on these things run off 12 volt. Those LEDs are pretty much the same as those. If you just plug them straight into the battery, they're gonna burn out. You don't want that to happen. So you want that regulator. That regulator is what makes it possible to do this. I've done it on plenty of e-bikes. Let me show you guys the e-bike that I actually built for my girl. I converted this from a regular bike to an e-bike. So I turn it on. As you can see, I have a 41 volt, but when I press the brake light, it comes on. And my regulator is actually inside this Porsche right here, this little bag. As you can see, this 41 volt. It's a 48 volt. It's a 36 volt, but I think of 36 volt at full charge is like 40, 41 or 44, something like that, whatever. So this is my voltage regulator. This side connects to the display control, and this side connects to the LED lights. For the headlight, this is what it looked like. It's they come in individually but I have two of them. This is where the speaker is. I have two of them mounted on my bike. And then for the tail lights, they're gonna come looking like this. I have a bunch of them. This all work. Like I said, I just build e-bikes, so I'm gonna eventually put these ones on whatever bike I build next. This is one of the hold switches that I used to have. The problem with this switch is that sometimes when I, let's say, use my right signal, it stays on right, but I forget to turn them off, or left, I forget to turn them off. And sometimes I can actually throw the people off behind you, because if you're making a right but you forgot your switch was on the left side, it's gonna confuse people. So you always have to bring it back to the middle. Whereas with this one, if I, let's say, turn the left on, there's a light indicate that the left turn signal is on. Because I can see this, I know to turn it off because I can see it. You know, if my headlight is on, the light is showing, and it's gonna remind me to turn it off. You know, whenever there's any kind of lights, it literally lights up. That's why I prefer these click ones over this switch ones. Here's the up close of those headlight dual. I am so proud of this build. Like, I'm really very proud of this build. And like I said, this thing is just so bright. Okay, something important that I want to mention real quick is you want to have, I have these things right here to protect the LEDs, because before I having this, I actually damaged the LEDs because this part right here rubbed up against something, like with a hard impact. So now I have these things to protect it. So if I hit the side of my bike, it's gonna land on this right here and not damage the LEDs. The great thing about these LEDs is even if it damages, you can actually cut that section off and replace it and solder it back together, and it would work just fine. Whenever that happens, I use glue gun to actually glue it back up. You know, I use solder to, obviously connect them, and then I glue them back up. So yeah, see, front, you see the protection. This protects it, the front. For the back side, I have one of these to protect my derailleur, but because this sits higher and this sits high, it's not gonna hit something. I mean, if it does, there's a very low chance it does. But on this side, I don't have one of those, but this right here sits so much higher that it's not gonna hit anything, and also my pedals sits higher, so it's gonna prevent anything from hitting the side of my bike. So that makes sure you guys, add something that extends out to protect your bike, especially in the front, because in the back you typically have one of these or something that prevents it, but in the front is very exposed. So it makes sense to add something that looks like this. Mine looks like a wing, whatever. So once again, thank you for watching my video on how to make your own e-bike with LEDs. Hopefully you guys try this and it works for you. You can use the link in the descriptions. All the parts that you need is on Amazon. You can use my link. It's an affiliate link, which allows me to get, I think, credit or points whenever you buy something. It doesn't add anything to your purchase. It's literally the same price whether I use it or not. But by using my link, it just, helps me out. If you have any questions on what to do for your bike, if you have any issues, just hit me up, put a comment in the description. I would help you out. I've pretty much ran into whatever issue you can run into. I've seen it all. Any kind of issue, I've had my share version of the issues. But once again, this is my bike all around. I absolutely love this. I get a lot of attention for it, but the main purpose of this light is not just to be flashy. Obviously, you can be flashy and you will be flashy. You can turn them down to a very minimum, but the whole point of this light is for safety. You know, if you turn off your lights, and let me turn off, obviously, I'm gonna have a nighttime riding on this, but if you turn off your lights and actually look at it, it brings attention to you. That way, when people are riding on the road, they can actually see you and don't hit you. But once again, if you have any questions, hit me up. Peace.